I'm your host, Josie Van Dyke, and I am sitting next to my new BFF, Bethany Johnson, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Welcome to Weekly Trash, Arizona.
I'm so excited.
You pulled up, you're like, am I in the right place? I'm like, I don't know where we are, but we're in Arizona, and welcome to our Airbnb.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. Big fan of the podcast.
I'm a big fan of you.
What a dream come true.
It's fun when you follow people for a long time and then you get to meet them in person.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh. And you just
So
got back
fun.
from a little staycation with the boy.
Yes. I have
So,
a little boyfriend.
Yeah, we need to talk all about your little boyfriend. Your little boyfriend and basically how you got to where you are right now, because you have a life, Bethany. I was making your layout and I was like, holy shit, there's so much to unpack. There's so much to dumpster deep dive with you.
It's a lot.
And I like stalked you a little bit because I started following you, I want to say 2 years ago. And so I didn't know the lore. Like, I didn't know everything. So I went back for the layout and I was stalking you and I saw one of your captions that said, married at 17 and 18. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
That's correct. That
So
is correct.
I have so many questions.
Yes.
So can I dumpster deep dive you?
Let's go.
Okay. Sorry to interrupt, but today's episode is brought to you by Spearmint Love. You guys know how much I love Spearmint Love and all their fun prints and designs. But this season, Spearmint Love has everything you need to make Christmas extra special with their huge selection of adorable holiday outfits and prints. This year, they introduced not only matching mom and child lounge sets, but also matching mom and mini oversized knit sweaters. I could die. So freaking cute, cozy, and oversized. Perfect for chilly days and festive family photos. The lounge sets come in sizes 0 to 3 month to 12 years old for your babies or older siblings. And then for women, the sizes go from extra small to 3XL. So there's something for everyone. Spearmint Love isn't just another baby boutique. It's a trusted name in the baby space, known for its own exclusive collections, which I love, and a huge selection of high-quality baby essentials and holiday outfits. From their headquarters in sunny Arizona, they offer fast shipping to get your Christmas favorites to you on time. Now, we all know it's Christmas season. You're trying to get those matching jammies. You're trying to find out those cute fits. Head on over to spearmintlove.com and use code WEEKLYTRASH for an exclusive 25% off your order. That's right, spearmintlove.com and use code WEEKLYTRASH for 25% off your order. And thank you, Spearmint Love, for sponsoring today's episode. Bethany, aka Beth, where are you from?
So I was born and raised in California.
Okay.
And moved to Tucson, Arizona in junior high, and then ended up in Phoenix in high school. So literally from all over, like Northern California, then the Bay Area, then to I don't know. I never had like a home base. So that is something that I like carry with me into like my I want my children to always be from here.
Gotcha.
I don't remember one person from elementary school. Like don't have one friendship from K through like 8 even. So it was before like the time of, I wasn't allowed to have social media and then phones and stuff like that. And then like I would get in trouble and then my parents would like move to a new town kind of thing. Okay. So I literally
you would get in trouble? Like what would you do?
Like, for example, in 8th grade, you know, when Miley Cyrus had that like really sexy picture come out when she was like literally 14, I was like, I think she was like 15. I was like 13 at the time. Yes. And I was like, this is so sexy. Like to me as a 13-year-old. Yeah. What was it? Vanity Fair, Vogue or whatever. And she had like the towel draped over. So I recreated the photo with the towel where you could, it literally just showed my back, like just my back.
Just for the pedophiles.
Sent it to a boy that I liked. And yeah. And my parents saw it on my phone. That was like, I lost everything. And then like in high school, let's see. It's so funny looking back on like the things I got in trouble for. My parents were pastors.
Okay, so you grew up very religious.
Yes, yeah. So like I got in trouble for kissing a boy. I got in trouble in 6th grade because I was talking about an inside joke I had with a boy in class, like stuff like that.
Okay, so a lot of it was boy related.
Yeah.
So you were
it was all boy related. It was all boy. Yeah, I was boy crazy.
Boy crazy.
According to my parents.
How many siblings did you have?
I have 3 younger.
3. So you're the oldest.
Yes.
And are they boys, girls?
So I have a younger sister and then 2 younger brothers.
Okay, fun. So 4 kids. Mm-hmm. Did you feel like you were raised the way that you raise your kids?
No.
That was a dumb question.
Pretty much
I kind of assumed.
Pretty much if I like do something that feels similar to like what my mom did, I course correct immediately.
You're like, no. Are you close to your parents now?
So my dad's in prison.
Wow. The Lord. Okay. A pastor in prison.
Yes, the pastor in prison. My mom, I'm kind of close to. I know I'm gonna like move on with your question. You want me to unpack that?
I do. Like, why is your dad in prison?
Okay, so horrible traumatic story. If I smile at all, it's because I'm uncomfortable, not because it's funny to me. Yeah, okay. So when I was always been a pastor.
Yeah.
When we moved to Gilbert, he got hired to do something different because he used to like lead churches.
Okay.
This time he was a worship pastor, and then the church was connected to a charter school. Okay. And like the pastor was the president of the school. Gotcha. And they have like schools all over Phoenix. Like it's a huge charter school system.
Okay.
Or whatever. Anyways, so this time he got hired to be a principal at one of the high schools, and then also like write charters for the school. And so he was like high up on the board and like super involved with that, but then also the worship pastor at the church. So during this time, we decided as a family to, I mean, like the kid, we weren't part of the decision making, whatever, to take in a young girl that was 14 years old because her grandparents and my grandparents had gone to college together. And like this girl had a horrible backstory, like parents out of the picture, like grandparents wouldn't move out of their retirement community to raise her kind of thing. So my parents took her in.
I really don't like where this is
going. Yeah, it's bad. And so pretty much that's the other thing too, is like there's a lot of parts I don't remember, not even just from this, but like even like raising my kids. Yeah. I feel like I've blocked a lot out. But pretty much what I remember is finding Facebook messages and walking in on something that I didn't know what it was, but I assumed what it was type of thing. And then I was heavily gaslit, told I was wrong. I went to my pastor. At the time I was 18 and pregnant. I went to my pastor and I reported it. And I said,
your dad.
Yeah. I said, I think he's doing things that are inappropriate.
She was 14.
She was 14. No consent, like lost, like just a horrible, she was groomed. And I reported it and I said, I think this is what's going on, but I don't, like, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. And he basically was like, shut your mouth type thing, and took my dad's side. And then after that, my dad moved out, like literally the next day, and moved into an apartment, moved the girl in with him. And it was like my parents were getting divorced, and like the church and the school and everyone knew. And I felt like everyone knew that the girl like had moved in with him, and everyone was saying that this was like normal, and like it was just such a mind fuck. And within a few months, he got I think she reported it to the cops because he like went back to my mom or something. I don't really know like the details. Also, like I've stayed so far removed from this. Like there was court dates and there was hearings and there was all these things that my mom like dragged my other siblings to every single thing involved. So like they knew all the details. Like
they were all minors.
Because they were minors. So I was 18. So that was like my only like get out of jail free card to like not be involved whatsoever. Yeah. And I like took it. And so for a long time I wasn't close with my mom or any of my siblings because they thought that I don't support him, and I never have. Yeah. Like, but they were like, you don't support him, and I'm like,
so they were defensive.
My mom for the entire 3 years that he was in jail and like there was hearings and like awaiting trial and all that stuff, fully believed that he was innocent because he was
she believed him over you.
Yes.
Because did you tell her what you had seen?
Yes.
Wow.
She went with me to the pastor to report him, and still ended up supporting him.
So they're still married?
No. So once the day that he got convicted to 20 years, she filed for divorce. So for me, that was really hard to grapple with because it was like, so you aren't going to end up with him anyways. And you could have believed me. You could have believed the girl that was telling her story. It was awful. And so he got 20 years with time served. So it was 17 from that day.
Okay.
So all of my siblings were minors. I had just turned 18, was pregnant with my first daughter. Also was like very sheltered. I think when I say I was 18, like I probably had the mind of a 13-year-old. Like I was so sheltered growing up. Like I got pregnant because I didn't know what contraception was. And I was 18 when I got pregnant. So it was like there was just so much that like I was so unaware of, and like lived in like this fantasy world of like, oh, everyone's Christian here, and like everyone's like happy, and like everyone has like this path for them. And like when I got pregnant, it was like it threw off that course. And like also my dad told me that I needed to get an abortion when I first got pregnant, and this is before we found out about like everything he was doing. He told me I needed to get an abortion because I was embarrassing the family. And it's just like, okay. Who's embarrassing who? You know?
Wow. That is like a lot of trauma to unpack. Did your dad ever do anything to you?
So no, there was things that like made me uncomfortable, and like now as an adult, I can see that, and through therapy, I can see I was put in inappropriate situations. Like, did he assault me? No, but like he would make us through high school like kiss him on the mouth even when we like felt like it was like didn't want to, we would be forced to still, or like we would like go to kiss him and he'd like stick his tongue out as a joke, like stuff like that. And it's like, it made me uncomfortable, but I was just like, like my dad, I'm a kid. Yeah. Now looking back, I'm like, that's like not appropriate. And shouldn't have happened. And so
did that kind of ruin the way you look at maybe religion or God or anything like that?
100%.
You see this person who people put on a pedestal.
Yeah. He was leading.
And he's a monster.
He was leading our entire congregation of people at church and our family in worship every Sunday. Meanwhile, going home in a different car than our family, taking her to wherever and assaulting her pretty much. Like,
wow.
Horrible. Like I self-harmed throughout my pregnancy with Brooklyn because I couldn't even like handle the emotions that I was feeling. Like
you had no control, so like you
it was like
yourself.
And it was like I was raised this like a certain way my entire life, and then it was like every wall just fell around me, and I was like exposed to the outside world, and I'm like, how is this like real life? Like I was like, number one, you have this idea of who you're gonna be in life and like what your family's gonna look like in a moment, gone forever. Like I will never have a father. I will never have like my dad, or like my siblings didn't have their dad at their high school graduation or walking my sister down the aisle, or and there's so many things about life that are going to be different forever. Like my kids don't have a grandfather. Now I'm like grateful for that in a way because I want to protect my kids. Like I think back then I would have had them in unsafe situations just to like please people. And now like that would never happen. So I think everything happened for a reason, but there's a lot that I still like, I'm like, why did that have to happen? Like, why did that have to be part of my forever story?
No, that is a lot.
Yeah.
Like that's wild.
Yeah, it is truly wild and awful.
So obviously your ex-husband was the person who got you pregnant at 18.
Yes.
Were you guys dating before in high school? Like, what did your family feel about you having a boyfriend?
So I, like we had just said, boy crazy.
Yeah,
like,
boy crazy. 6th grade. Your dad was child crazy. Yeah.
No,
awful.
Literally everyone's crazy. So in my senior year of high school, I started dating Anthony, and he was younger than me. So when we started dating, he was 15 and I was 16.
Okay.
And I had been in a 2-year like toxic relationship with the children's pastor's son.
Of course.
And I was the worship pastor's daughter.
Yeah.
And it was really awful, like just fighting and breaking up all the time, and like me crying myself to sleep every night, and like affected my self-worth, and like also in between all this, like kissing random boys at school just to make him jealous type thing, like all just dumb stuff. And Anthony was this guy's friend. And so like the reason I went into it kind of was to like make him jealous.
Okay.
And then I ended up we just became best friends. Like we were really, really close and just had fun together and never fought. And so it was like, oh, this is such a breath of fresh air from like the past one. That lasted for like a month, my senior year. And I would say like the best our relationship ever was in high school probably. But like my parents fully knew and they were like fine with it. But like I never saw him outside of school.
Was he religious?
So his family is way more into religion than mine ever was, which is crazy because mine were pastors.
Same religion?
No. So, Christianity, yes, but like their version. So like my family was Foursquare, which I like now I more so would go to like a non-denominational.
Yeah.
And then theirs is called Potter's House, which it's very niche. I feel like it's only some people know about it, but it's very culty. And it's like they weren't allowed to play sports growing up because that takes away from God, from time you could be in church. And like, you can't have a TV, and you have to wear certain types of clothes, and like, you can't have a boyfriend or a girlfriend unless they go to our church. So like, when he came to his parents and he was like, I want to have a girlfriend, she's the daughter of pastors, she is super Christian. And they were like, does she go to our church? And he's like, no. They're like, no, sorry, can't do it. Like, that kind of thing.
Wow.
So we were in a secret relationship, like, as far as his family went. My family knew for a year. And then his parents didn't find out about our relationship until after I got pregnant.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you get pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And he's still in high school.
He's still in high school.
I had just graduated.
And your dad wants you to get an abortion.
Yes.
What made you not get an abortion?
I think that was the first time my dad was like unmasked for me. Yeah. And like, I saw who he really was, and not like what he had portrayed to be my entire life, is when he sat me at where were we? At P.F. Chang's in Mesa. He took me out to dinner, and he had an abortion pill with him that I have no idea to this day where he got it from. And he was like, you're going to take this pill, and we're going to induce a miscarriage. And I started like sobbing, and I was like, no, like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. And we like fought the entire dinner, and I'm sure we didn't even finish, and I probably stormed out because that's like my move. But like, I have no idea where he got it from. Anyways, he was like, you're going to do it. No, my mom that night came into my room and was like, you have to take this pill. Like, you don't understand like what you're going to do to our family if you don't take this pill. And I was like, nope, not taking it. And I had decided before then that I wanted to keep the baby. Yeah. And I think too, for me, like, them wanting me to get one so bad also like made me feel like I needed to keep it, because they had told me my entire life that abortion was like the worst sin, like the deepest and worst of the sins.
Yeah, murder.
Yeah. And now they're like encouraging me to get one and like telling me I need to get one. So it just like, for me, that was my first moment where I was like, do you actually believe everything you're telling me, or are you just like saying what? It. Yeah. What's real and what's not. And so I think that was like the first moment. And then of course, everything that followed that with like in that year with my dad, everyone showed me their true colors, like every single person. So that also, Anthony was very protective.
Did Anthony want to keep it as well?
Yeah, he wanted to keep it. He was always on board with keeping it. I think he would have been on board either way and like let me make the decision, but he definitely was excited to keep it. And I mean, he comes from a family where teen pregnancy is like I think every single person in their family had a teen pregnancy. His mom's had multiple. Like, his mom got pregnant with him when he was 15 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it wasn't like, for my family, it was like very uncommon. And then for his, it was more common. So I think he like dealt with it a little bit better than I did. Yeah. And yeah, he was he's always been a little bit controlling though, in the way that like, and we've talked about this 100 times, but like, he did not want me to have any sort of relationship with my family whatsoever going into like being married. And so for the first few years, like, it was very toxic with like my family and like him and my mom would get in fights, and like I wasn't allowed to see her. I wasn't allowed to talk to my dad. And like during that time too, I think like when he was in jail, so he was in jail for 3 years awaiting trial. And like during that time I was like, should I talk to him still? Because he's my dad and I do love him, and I'm like feeling really heartbroken and I miss him, but I like hate what he did. And I have children now, and like I can't. So like that was what I was dealing with internally. But then I had my partner being like, oh no, you don't get the choice. Like, you can't talk to him. Like, sorry. So like I never got to deal with any of those feelings on my own. Like, it was years later in therapy and in marriage counseling that I finally like dealt with those, and we had really hard conversations, and he apologized for like not letting me make those decisions on my own and that kind of thing. So luckily did get to heal from that in some way.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Because like
you're like, well, that's good.
That's a lot to have to heal from. And especially you're going from like, okay, my dad's going to prison. I'm pregnant. I'm 18 years old. Like, what were your plans to support yourself? Like, were you and Anthony because you did get married. Yeah. What was the plan? Like, live with his parents?
No, we moved in together.
Okay.
Before getting married. Okay. And we had a $600 a month apartment, and my dad helped support us. Like, would give me some money that was another part of him getting not getting arrested, but he used money to keep me in his life for a time, and it was cutting him off and my mom, like, financially. Like, I cut them off even though they were giving me money. That like really helped me to like break free from that like obligation almost to like be in their lives. But Anthony worked at Food City, the grocery store. Okay. And then when we got married, got a job at UPS, so was working nights. So like he worked really hard to be able to support our family and to keep us like somewhat afloat. We were on food stamps and Axis, our Arizona's government insurance, and WIC. I did all the things to like try to support us in any way possible. Yeah. Started like my first business making homemade headbands for babies. Okay. When I was 19. And then started my blog that same year. And
how many kids did you have at that point?
When I started my blog, I just had Brooklyn, and I was pregnant with Harlem. So another fun part of my story is that I got pregnant 2 months postpartum after my first baby. So I had my first at 18, my second at 19. Because my mom had told, like, looking back, I'm just like, what the fuck's wrong with you? Because you had an iPhone, like, Safari was right there. Like, I don't understand. But, like, my mom told me that if I was breastfeeding, I couldn't get pregnant. And so.
Some people say that. I'm like, it's not really true.
So I got pregnant, and I was pregnant, and Brooklyn was 6 months old when I started my blog. And that was like my passion and like hobby for like years, and just like my only creative outlet as like being a young mom. And I went from like having so many friends to like having no friends, and because all my friends were in college and like living their best lives. And
you're married, about to have 2 kids.
Yes. And so, and just like I had been through so much, and that was still at the time where like my dad was arrested and like awaiting trial, and my mom and my siblings were all like supporting him, and it was just like very hard. So I put everything into my blog, like everything.
And was it always called Garcia Diaries?
Yeah. I just randomly chose that one night. It was like the GarciaDiaries.wordpress.com.
It's perfect. I love it. Yeah. I mean, now that's not your last name anymore, but
well, also fun story is that it never was my last name. Like, I never legally changed my last name to Garcia. Okay. I think there was like a part of me that knew I'd have to change it back if I did
at some point. Okay.
So yeah, I know that's the part that's hard, because like we did build such a beautiful family, and like I love my kids so much. They give me purpose. They're my reason. Yeah. I love being a mom. But I do think that I got pregnant, and so we tried really hard to make something work for a long time that was never going to work. Like the people we were at 17 and 18, I look at myself 2.5 years ago, and I'm like, who are you? Yeah. Like, who are you? So I think I just grew this way and he grew that way, and like, it was never going to work.
It's never going to work. No. But you've also said that it was pretty toxic. Like, you guys had some hard times. You said he was pretty controlling. Because you have 5 kids? Yeah. Like, so you kept having kids together. Yeah. Were all those pregnancies planned, other than, I mean, I know you got pregnant at 2 months postpartum, which wasn't
so my
planned.
First 2 were not planned. And then my third, I was like, okay, well, I want 3 kids. Like, let's just have them all close together, since like we've already done it this way. So that's how I ended up with my son. And that was the pregnancy and like birth and all that stuff where I like really blew up on Instagram. Okay. And it was literally from like sharing bump dates. Like, I would pose in front of a chalkboard every week and gain 1,000 followers. And I'd be like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, I like this. Yeah.
Would that been like what? 2017?
This was 2015.
2015.
Yeah. So I started my blog in 2013.
Okay. Yeah. OG.
Yeah. And so I did all that. Like, that was fun. Started getting paid posts. Like, I remember my first paid blog post was $75 from Jergens, and I was 9 months pregnant, like putting on tanning lotion. Like, let's do it. And I was so proud of myself. I was so proud. I was like, $75. Like, you have this is gonna buy 3 weeks worth of diapers. Like, this is amazing. Yeah. So yeah, I loved it. And
you planned the third.
Yeah. So he was 5th. No, so Deuce was planned, my son. And then I got pregnant and miscarried. Okay. And then Bronx was an accident, and then Ellis was planned. So 2 out of the 5 were planned.
Okay. So when you had your last that was planned, was your marriage in a good spot, or was it just like, well, we already have all these kids, let's have more?
So do you know about the super nanny lore?
No. There is so much lore in Bethanie's life.
My God.
Gosh. Did the super nanny
so
come to your
nervous
house?
that I just pulled off my nail. Like, I'm so sorry.
Is that a press-on?
Yeah,
Those look really good. Yeah,
they're
press-ons.
I love this brand, actually.
Link in bio.
Like, it's the best. Okay,
wait. Did super nanny come to your house?
So, okay, what year is this? In 2019, Lifetime picked up Super Nanny.
Yeah.
They're like, let's bring her back for a season.
Okay.
And so I got an email from some casting director that was like, listen, one of our people follow you and they thought that you'd be perfect for the show, which that's never a fun thing to hear.
So I'm a bad mom?
So at the time I had 4 kids and I was 25 and I think he was 24. And he was so into it from like the get-go, like from the moment I got the email. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like, I don't know if it'd be good for my brand because like my audience is all about motherhood. And like, I don't want people to think I'm like a shitty mom.
Yeah.
Also, like we were going through a lot at the time with Deuce's behavior. Deuce was born with craniosynostosis and he's had multiple skull surgeries. And it just caused us to like baby him a lot and like not be stern with his behavior. And it fucked us over. And then he also saw the way Anthony talked to me and treated me. And so he like Deuce was like 2 years old walking around like cussing at me and like stuff like that to where he like kind of followed Anthony's behavior. And we went through a lot of interview processes for it. And like I did not want to do it. He really wanted to do it. They convinced me. And so we ended up filming and it was like a 2-week filming period. And then it premiered in 2020. So this was like wild because one of the things that happened during this was for the first time, I think I saw myself as like from the outside looking in versus like living it. And I was like, what the fuck? Like what are you doing? Like being treated like this. And there was like these hidden cameras in our apartment that were supposed to be like for the safety of the crew type thing. Like, cause they would be like in our bedrooms and stuff and having kids, whatever. So we were told that these cameras didn't have audio, and couldn't pick anything up, but it was just for like safety.
Visual. Yeah.
When the episode premiered, it had footage from the cameras of us, like when the crew would leave at night, of him like screaming at me in the bedroom, like calling me the R word, like yelling at me,
verbally
like saying,
abusive.
Yeah. And they put it in the episode. And I was like, and he was so pissed because he was like, they said, like,
I'm
just
sure
so
that
angry.
Escalated his behavior even more.
And so, but then, well, I think a part of it too, he was like, he saw himself too, and he was like, I don't want to be like that. And so, like, we did start, we like, I think we did a little bit better after that, and like, then I got pregnant with Ellis, and he had just quit his job. He worked at Cox's, like, installing cable and internet and that kind of thing. He quit his job because I was making so much money that I was like, I either need help, like a nanny, like not so much money, but for us from being on food stamps, like I was like, oh my God, like what's happening? I was like, I either need more help and then I'm going to be with the kids less, or you could quit your job and we could all be together all the time. And then you could help me with this stuff. And so he was like, I had to convince him, but he was like, let's do this. So that's when we decided to have Ellis. And he was like, I can finally be there for like all of her first and for like her walking and for your pregnancy. Cause he always worked so much to like help support us. And so like in that way, I think that was one of like our happiest times because like we had both seen who we were like on the TV, and it was like, oh my gosh, like I don't want to be treated like that. And he's like, I don't want to treat you like that. Like, let's do better. Let's like it's kind of do this. Yeah. And so it was good for a time. And I think COVID was good, and we homeschooled our kids. And like when I look back on our marriage, like I'll think of that as like the happiest time. But like we both just grew too far apart, and he fell back into patterns. Like I think too, just who he is not something that like someone I can be with ever. And I think there's like maybe different personalities that are better for each other, because I definitely need someone that I don't want someone to walk on eggshells around my emotions, but I want them to give a fuck like a little bit. And I think that I just was never going to be like emotionally fulfilled in that relationship ever.
Did you guys get backlash after Super Nanny aired?
Yes, a ton.
Was
ton.
that hard?
Directed at him. It wasn't hard for me.
Did you kind of like it though?
Oh,
were you kind of like, yeah, like, fuck you. Like, this is how you treated me.
Yeah,
like,
I definitely felt validated in a sense. And then like even over the past year, like everything I've been through, people reach out constantly and they're like, I don't know how people are confused. If they had watched Super Nanny, like they would know.
They would know.
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch.
I kind of wish it didn't exist.
I
look back and I'm like, what the fuck? Like I showed my boyfriend a clip from it. You know, trying to catch him up on all this lore, that has been a wild experience. But he was like, who the fuck is that? And I was like, that's me. 5 lifetimes ago.
Like, oh, I was going through it.
Yeah, I really was.
I was going through it.
Yeah.
So you guys had separated. Did you separate more than once before you finally divorced?
So
you're still going through the divorce right now?
It's not finalized. I first asked for divorce in summer of 2022, so over 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and so we split up and he like wouldn't leave my house kind of thing and would like sneak back in when I like locked him out. So it just wasn't like, it wasn't easy.
Working. Yeah.
And I think I was told that I couldn't do it on my own, and I was really scared to do it on my own with 5 kids because he was my partner. Like I couldn't do it alone. But I really did believe I couldn't do it alone. Like I thought that it would be easier to stay and better for my kids to stay and all of that. So in 2022 we split for like 2 weeks and then ended up back together. During that time we started marriage counseling and we continued it for a while after getting back together. And I think, every time we split up, it was because something happened. It wasn't like I woke up and was like, I think I want a divorce. I think I'm ready. Like something very serious and scary happened for me to like want a divorce.
You say he was verbal. Was it ever physical?
So the 3 times that it got physical. So when I first wanted the separation in 2022, we had something bad happen and I just the next day was like, okay, like everything's fine. Like we were on a trip with friends. So I couldn't they didn't even know what happened like at the time. Like I FaceTimed my best friend Nadej, but like besides that, no one else knew in my entire life like what had happened.
Was he
and I just
under
pretended
the influence during any of these incidents?
I don't know. Well, now that I'm thinking of incidences, I'm thinking of more that I would be like, I want a divorce. And then like, he would be like, I'm sorry. And I'd be like, okay, that's fine. Like the separations were like bigger things. I don't know. I don't even know. It's like, it's a lot, but all I remember is that a week later I like woke up and I was like, oh my God, like I can never let that happen again. Like I was almost for a week, like just like, oh, everything's fine. Like, oops, sorry. Like it's my fault. Even like, yeah. And then I like woke up and I was like, okay, like that can't happen again. So I'm going to ask for a divorce. Then we would like get back together. So from 2022 on, I was like 2023, like there would be things that would happen where I'd be like, I cannot live like this. Like, please God, like give me strength or like make something bigger happen. Like I was literally like almost begging for like bad things to happen to me just to give me like an out.
Yeah.
And it was not very happy. Like there would be happy times, of course. Like I get people being like, well, you posted like everything was fine. Like you lied to us. And I'm like, I was lying to myself. Like the people trying to hold me accountable for not being honest, like the past year or two, I'm like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing I can do about it because I was lying to myself. And there were happy, genuine moments mixed in with like the horrific ones.
Of course, there always is. That's why you stay. If it was shitty all the time, you wouldn't stay. You have to have good pockets of happiness in order to like lie to yourself.
Yeah.
And be like, oh, 100%. This is good. Like we're fine.
100%. So yeah, in February I got a hysterectomy and something happened 24 hours post-op.
Yeah, you had said in a post like if he could treat me like that.
24 hours post-op, how could I? Yeah. So I asked him 24 hours post-op for a divorce. And after like that day, his mom, I had like called his mom over. Like that's how heated things got. Like I had called his mom over to like almost protect me in a way.
And what was it over? Like what upset him so much?
You know what we were talking about before the podcast started?
Yeah.
It actually had something to do with that situation.
Okay.
So yeah, like just
so the listeners will never know,
The
but let me tell you,
know.
it is pretty irrelevant. It's not something irrelevant. That should make you feel scared.
It was the fact that my friends were still talking about it while I was in surgery. We have a group chat and he had my phone, and so they were still talking about a situation, and he was livid over it.
And it's a situation that doesn't really even involve him.
No, it doesn't. And there was a lot with my friends that caused issues in our marriage, and there was a lot in my marriage that caused issues with my friends. Like that was a balancing act that it was really hard for me for the two. Like I became friends with this friend, like my best friend Kendall, 3 years ago, and like I think I had never had such strong, close female friendships before. That was something that caused a lot of issues, and like how often I wanted to like hang out with them, and like I always wanted our kids to get together, and I wanted to like I just loved being around my friends. Like it filled my cup up in a way that it hadn't been filled before.
Yeah.
And I definitely think there was moments where I put my friendships before I put my marriage, because they made me feel so much better than my marriage made me feel. And I was looking for any pocket of peace and like joy and like just
happiness.
And then, yeah. And so
he was upset about friend stuff.
Yeah, constantly. And I wouldn't say constantly, but there was
a common thread.
Issues. Yes, there was issues there. And there was one specific friend that I had that he did not get along with at all. And I don't even think she really knew throughout our friendship until like the divorce. Now she fucking knows. Duh. But like but yeah, so that caused a lot of like rifts for sure. I don't even know what the point of me bringing that up was, because I don't remember what we were talking
trying
about.
to figure out what caused him to freak out so much when you were 24 hours post-op.
So anyways, he would like a flip would switch. And so that was one of the moments where I was like, okay, so I called my grandma up from Tucson to come take care of me. And my grandma also, like, a funny, like, thing that people always say is that, like, I used Anthony to get so many surgeries done for him to, like, take care of me. And then I, like left him once I was hotter.
Hysterectomy is this, like, hot surgery.
It's just so funny.
What other surgeries have you gotten?
Boob jobs.
Okay.
So I got my first boob job in 2022, and my grandma took care of me.
Okay.
Alongside Anthony. And then the second one, I had to get another one because it didn't work out. Like my surgeon was like, you've had too many kids and you've lost too much weight, and now your body can't hold the implant up, so we need to put like a mesh bra on type thing. So it was like a corrective surgery. I didn't want it. Like I needed it.
Who likes going under?
Also needed the hysterectomy, guys. Like I'll give you one, but like, come on. No, the funny part is like my grandma always helped take care of me and stuff, because I would want him. Yeah, I would want him to focus on like the kids part of it all. Anyways, I called my grandma up from Tucson to come take care of me. She stayed with me for like 10 days and was very privy to like some horrible things that happened, because that was another situation where he wouldn't leave the house. And so we lived together while being separated type thing. And I cried myself to sleep every single night. I cried every single day. It was literally horrific. Like I missed him so much. I didn't want to get a divorce. I knew I needed one, but like I didn't want it. Like I wanted him still, like truly, because I think that's why I got back together. Not even the kids part of it, like that was hard and stuff, but like also we never told the kids like what we were going through. We kept it like very happy and like very family oriented around them, and that part of it was like hard because we were kind of pretending in a way.
Yeah.
And I just wanted it to be real. And in my friend group, like one of my close friends was getting married, and like it was just we were like all thinking about love and like happiness, and like I think we should never have gone back together in February. We should have just kept it there. Yeah. But I was like, what if I can make this work? Like, what if I can, and then I don't have to put my kids through this? Like, what if I can, and then I don't have to miss him, and I don't have to like start over, because like that's scary too. So we got back together, and I would say he changed for like because he was going to the psychiatrist and like started medication, and I think he was like on his best behavior for like a good 3 weeks. We had like the best 3 weeks ever, the best 3 weeks. And then stuff started slipping. Mother's Day, I had an incident happened where I was like, I knew that I after the 3 weeks, so like in March, I knew that we were going to get divorced at some point. I just didn't know when. And I think that was when I started falling out of love for real. But I think in 2022 that when that situation happened, I think I like lost a part of myself forever, and I will never be able to get that part of me back. And I think that that's like was the start of like the decline of it all, like for real. But February and everything that happened then, like I slowly started falling out of love. And Mother's Day, something happened, but it wasn't big enough that I felt like I could use it as an excuse to leave. And so we had an anniversary trip planned for our 11th anniversary, and we hadn't been on a trip together alone in a while. Another thing was we've constantly fought, like constantly. And I would get silent treatment for days. And like the things he would say to me, like he always went for the jugular. Like I was not confident. I was a shell of myself, but we were planning a trip. And so I planned it normally, and he wanted to go for like a week or something. I was like, let's do 2 nights. Cause I was like, I think we could get through 2 nights without fighting. I was also like,
you don't want to live in a relationship where you're like, I can't even spend a week with you alone.
I was like self-preserving in any way I could. So I was like, okay, like I want to do this trip because like it's our anniversary. So we have to, I feel, and he wants to do it, but I want to preserve anything that I can. So I'm going to make it for 2 nights. And I also went into thinking it like, and I went into it thinking, if something happens, I'll divorce him. And we had 1 day there that was a full day. And I can't even, like, people have no fucking idea. Like, no idea at all. But that was when I decided I was going to get divorced for sure. And we went home on the plane with him knowing that we were getting divorced.
Did you feel like your life was in jeopardy on the trip?
No, because there was people around everywhere to protect me. So no, I never felt unsafe in that kind of way. But yeah, the what I went through on that trip, that's another thing that like I'm still gonna have to
work through.
Yeah.
You, like, obviously we're alluding to the fact that he was verbally abusive, at sometimes physical. Were your kids aware of his behavior? Like, were they scared of dad? Are they ever scared of dad?
I don't really want to answer anything about my kids besides the fact that they are so loved. Good. And like we are doing everything we can to like give them the best life possible, even with parents that are divorced. And like we both love them so much.
Well, I love that.
I want to leave it at that for the kids.
I respect the hell out of that.
Yeah.
You also, speaking of your kids, today's episode is brought to you by Coconut. If you follow me on Instagram, then you know that my personal favorite organic personal lubricant is Coconut. If you are making clean ingredient swaps, it is so important to make sure you are getting quality ingredients that are good for your body inside and out. Coconut uses all natural ingredients. They are cruelty-free, made in the USA, and their packing is plastic-free. Not only is it clean and my personal favorite, but it would also be a great gift to your partner or yourself, or you could spread the love and gift it to your bestie. So head to coconew.com, that is coconut without the T, and use code WEEKLYTRASH for 15% off your order. My code stacks with their on-site discount, so order today and you can thank me tomorrow. Again, that is coconew.com. Use code WEEKLYTRASH for 15% off. And thank you, Coconew, for sponsoring today's episode. I do want to talk more about divorce, but you stopped showing your kids as much on social media.
Yeah, I think it's the Reddit of it all. Like,
yeah.
I also, like, when I'm posting things, doing it in the most, like, innocent, like, I would never want to harm my children. And I never, not. Like, I don't want a lot of things that, like, maybe have traumatized them to, like, be remembered forever type thing.
Like,
so,
out
like,
there into
yeah,
the world.
so, like, I like, post things of them in a way of like, oh, this is fun and share. I want to share them and like I love them so much kind of thing. And like I've always shared them. But then there's the part of it that's like people aren't viewing it with the best of intentions. So also there's like times where I've posted something and I don't even realize that in doing so I'm not protecting them.
Yeah.
And so I think having so many people like hate me on Reddit like made me realize that I need to be so much more protective of them. And so, yeah, a lot of people are like, oh, is it because of the divorce or him or whatever? And no, it's literally just that I'm trying to keep them safe as possible through like this whole situation. And they're getting older and we've also had situations where like people at school know things because their parents follow me, or like we left a school because like there was this TA or whatever that kept like taking selfies with my kids and sending them from a fake account with a mask on.
Oh, wow.
Like weird shit. So I should have honestly like done this a long time ago. That's how I feel about it.
Well,
I still like make mistakes where I like accidentally post them without, because it's like so like second nature to me.
Yeah.
And people are like, you said you were gonna, and I'm like, I'm trying, like I'm so sorry, like I'm literally trying.
Chill the fuck out.
I'm trying to like make sense of it all. I'm trying to make the best decisions I can while being in fight or flight mode a lot of the time. Like I still have to deal with all of this every single day, so like it's a lot.
No, you have a lot of lore, a lot of drama. So you officially are like, it's done. We're done. I'm not coming back.
The first week of June. Yeah. But I think too, people were like, oh my God, you moved on so fast, which I did. But like I got over it so quickly. Like I don't think you guys understand. I cried in Mexico on this trip. I cried. Calling my friends, I cried. I cried because I was so fucking embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I wasn't scared. I was just fucking like ashamed. I came home and I didn't cry. Like in February, I cried every single night. Like I was so devastated over the fact that I was like could be getting a divorce. Yeah. This time I rejoiced. Like I did not cry one time for him. I cried for my kids. I laid in bed crying with them over us like the same way I cried over the fact that my life was never going to be the same when my dad went to jail. Yeah. Like it was a life-altering experience for everyone involved. I cried because of that. I didn't cry because I was sad over like losing him.
You were ready.
Yeah. And that's how I knew that it was like for real. Like
it was time.
Yeah. And then I like kind of went crazy for a second, but
let's talk about that. Yeah. What'd you do that was so crazy? What was Bethanie's crazy phase? Crazy single Bethanie.
Let's just say my friends had to have like a come to Jesus moment with me.
Okay.
Yeah. Like so like 2 weeks after, also like then Anthony left. He like moved to Texas for a month and a half to work for my brother-in-law doing pest control cells. And it was like the best thing that could have happened. It was so hard having my kids for a month and a half by myself, coming straight from us being equal partners and everything. Like I will always give him props in that he was an amazing dad and like helped so much. Yeah. And like we were a very good team in that way. Yeah, very hands-on. And I went from that to like it being all on me. And like it's always financially been all on me, but like then adding in all the pressures of like
the emotional,
just like not even like I couldn't even like hide in the bathroom. Yeah, like they know how to unlock it. Like there was no like go talk to your dad. So like that part of it, like it was a lot. I would say like 3 weeks after we like got back from Mexico and I had like told him I wanted a divorce after all that. Like I went out, he came back to like visit with the kids for a weekend. And so he was with them. This was like my first break. And I went to like Scottsdale with my best friend Adej, and she signed me up for Hinge. And I was like, this is so fun. Like I got married at 18.
Yeah, like had you ever
I've never dated. I've never dated. I'd never been on a date. Like I got pregnant and me and Anthony went on our first date after the fact. Like we never dated, not really.
Wow.
And I had never like done online dating. Yeah. Like, and I'd always like, you know,
test the waters.
Yeah,
have fun.
It was fun. It was honestly so fun. Like I went on a lot of dates before I met Drew and had the best time. And also like I went into like my marriage being like, this is the person that I've had sex with for like my whole life.
Yeah.
And I'd had a situation before Anthony in high school that was like borderline sexual assault. Like I always go back and forth on to this day if it was. So I feel like probably was. So like my body count, if you will, as the kids say, was very low.
Yeah.
Very low. So it was like I was 29 years old, like about to turn 30, going into like this new era. And it was so fucking fun. But
what's the body count now, Beth?
It went from 1 to 3. And I think we're set at 3 for life.
We love that. We love it. For life.
Well, no, I
wow, that's okay, Drew.
Like, I'd be happy with that forever, probably. Yeah. For sure.
So when you met Drew, what stuck out to you where you're like, okay, this is more than just like a fun date.
Yeah. So
like,
I think having like experiences before him was like perfect, because I was like, oh, I don't love that. Or like, I do like this, or I don't like this. But there was one guy before. This is so crazy that it was like so quick, and there was already a guy before him. But there was a guy before him that I actually did like.
Okay.
In a way that, and when I say I liked him, I meant like it wasn't just like we went on one date, like we went on 4, and it just, I like loved his personality, and like we had fun together, but conversation was so dry. Like he didn't get my humor, and like it was the conversation part of it was hard, but then like everything else was so fun. So I was like, oh, okay, like I'll probably still hang out with him for like a while, you know what I mean? But like I would never date him. And then I met Drew, and I went into it as like,
was it through Hinge?
Yeah, literally. This is how nervous I am. I'm literally sitting here picking off my nails, and I promise if you follow me, quickies are the best, and they don't come off easily. She's ripping stressed. Them. Yeah.
She's in the hot seat.
Ripping them. I went into it as for like a one night stand purpose. Cause like what happened was this guy that I was like kind of going on dates with went out of town. And I had a kid-free weekend, or not a kid-free weekend, a kid-free night. And I was like, what can I do on my kid-free night? And I had my Hinge set to 6 foot and above, because I was like, no more short guys.
No more short kings.
I want to experience. I've never even like made out with a tall guy before. Like I need this. And this guy that I was talking to was like 6'4". Okay. So I was like going through my Hinge, and I was like, everything's so boring. Like, this must have been the day after this guy left, like, and I knew I had a kid-free night coming up. Yeah. Because it wasn't the same day. Anyway, so I lowered my expectations on Hinge, and I set it to 5'11" and up. And up popped Drew. And you're like, and I was like, okay, this is TMI. I was so horny. I was like, and like, it was so crazy the moment I got divorced. I was just like horny, and I hadn't been horny in years. Of course. Like literally in years. So like it was a new feeling. Yeah, it was a new feeling to like just be like wanting want to have sex. Yeah. And so I like saw pictures of him, and I was like, I don't know, like these pictures look really old, and like I don't know, but like his prompts were funny. Yeah. So I like replied to one of the prompts, and then he like immediately matched my energy and was just like hilarious. And then we we didn't even talk on Hinge. Like I think he did like some stupid pickup line, and I was like, yes. And then we like exchanged numbers, and we talked for like a day before we met up. And I like had already known from just like talking to him that he was going to be fun. Yeah. But then when we met, I was like, oh, you're like actually so hot and like so nice and so funny. And like
5'11".
And 5'11". Like I can look up and talk. I can wear heels with you. That's so fun. We like talked for 4 hours straight. We just like laid in his bed, and we just talked, and we laughed, and we like, I didn't want to leave. Like I think I asked, or I don't think I had a sitter that night, because I'm pretty sure I had kid-free night. All I remember is being like, I was supposed to go home at a certain time, and I like stayed an hour longer. Oh, it was that my friends were checking in. They were like, why aren't you home yet type thing. And I was like, I need to stay one more hour. Like this guy's so fun. Like he's so fun. And this was also 2 days after my friends had like a come to Jesus moment with me, because I had gone out to a bar with my other single friend who's going through a divorce, and like had been encouraged to do some things that maybe weren't so like becoming of an influencer that can be filmed. Hopefully those videos never see the light of day, but I went a little like crazy at Buffalo Chips. So anyways, they had been like, you need to calm the fuck down for real. Like stop acting crazy like that. Yeah. Like
you're a mother.
You're a mother. Kendall, I was like crying in like the family room at the family locker room at the gym, and Kendall's like standing over me like, get it together. And so I met him 2 days later, and after the first time, and then the second time and third time, like I just like wanted to see him like all the time. Like anytime I had a kid-free night, I was like, let's hang out.
And he doesn't have kids, right?
He doesn't have kids. And he's 27.
27. How old are you?
I just turned 30. So when we met, I was 29. And I don't know, I was like, you're so fun. Like I must hang out with you more. I must. Like we must. And then it was just so fun, like the talking of it all. Like we just talked so much. And then he was like saying that he had gotten out of a relationship last year that was like super toxic, and so he wasn't like looking to rush anything. And I was like, I got out of a relationship a month ago.
Almost 11 years.
Is that okay? He's like, what the fuck? Are you divorced? And I'm like, not yet, but I will be very soon. And he just, I mean, so sorry.
No, you're good.
He just was like so different in every way. And within like a month, he was like, I'm going to need you to be my girlfriend for real. Cause like, I need to lock this down before you go off and like,
oh, that's sweet.
So sweet. So fun. So yeah, that's how I met him.
And would you ever get married again?
I think I would get married again.
Yeah.
Yeah. If it felt really good. And like, if my kids loved him.
Have they met him?
They have met him.
They're
obsessed. They're obsessed.
That's
they're every single person in their life they're feeling so much love from. So like I'm grateful for that for them.
Was it intimidating for him to be like, oh, 5 kids?
Yes, for sure. I still to this day ask him like once a week. I'm like, are you fucking sure? Like, are you sure? Like, $1 million
pussy baby.
I'm like confused. Why are you with me? Actually, I'm confused because it can be a lot.
Yeah,
like it's a lot. Like his life went from like no stress and like just chilling with his job and his friends to like me with 5 kids and like the chaos of me and his life changed in an instant forever.
Has Anthony met him?
Yes.
And what does he think?
So Anthony and I don't chat much besides around the kids. So I'm not sure what his feelings are, but he actually knew about Drew before we even officially started dating.
Oh, okay.
Like he was over one day like dropping off Ellis in my kitchen. He was like, are you dating anyone? And I was like, we're not dating, but I am talking to someone. And I was like, this conversation was so funny, but he was pretty much like, oh, like, is he black or is he white? Like, he's not Mexican, right? And I was like, oh, he's white and tall and handsome. You'd love him. Like,
it was just like that. You guys don't look alike at all or act alike. Or?
I was like, and he's nice to me. And Anthony was like, okay, like, all right, whatever. Like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he knew about him before the world did. The other thing too is like I never would have shared him so quickly, Drew, but people knew about it from me following him.
Oh, people are crazy.
Yeah, before like I was ever ready to share anything with the world, like Reddit already knew and had shared his like college soccer photos and his whole Instagram page, like that kind of thing, like zooming in on his profile picture.
Oh my gosh,
stuff like that. So like I think I shared him way sooner than I would have. I probably would have waited till like after Christmas, honestly. Like I was teasing things, but like I wouldn't have been like, here's his whole face.
Yeah,
and his
hard
name
launch it. Yeah. But you guys have been together for how long now?
Let me look at my calendar.
Let's see.
What month are we in?
November. It's November.
We started technically dating in, should I say? I think people are already.
You said June, right?
Together. No, July.
So
we met.
July, August, September, October.
We met like July 1st.
So basically July.
Yeah. And then we started dating 3 weeks later.
He made it official.
Yeah.
It's like August.
And then like I Love You came pretty soon too. Like that. It moved pretty quick. And then it was also moving really fast to the point where I was like, this is moving really fast. Yeah. Like I'm kind of getting nervous because like, what if you're not as good as like you're portraying yourself to be? Yeah. And like, what if there's darkness underneath it? Like I can't deal with that again. And like, what if this and what if that? And I was like really in my head. And like, also like a lot of it I think is valid. Like I felt it moving really fast. And so I was like, we need to talk about this. The communication with him is like, that's like my favorite part of it all. Is like, I've never communicated with someone in this way. And it makes me feel really safe to like be able to, because I think for a while, like I didn't communicate at all because it was always seen as a bad thing. And so I just stopped in general. And so like being able to do that with a partner is like such a freeing and like safe feeling. And I love it. But yeah, we dealt with everything, every emotion and feeling I've had together. And so like, that's nice. And therapy is everything for me and my kids. Like therapy is saving our lives for sure.
Oh yeah.
But to be like loved in this way, like I've never experienced it before. like to have this like safe feeling of love and like acceptance and like all the parts of me that were seen as like too loud or too much or I talk too much or I have too many feelings or my humor doesn't hit for a lot of people. Like everything hits for him. So like that's a nice feeling to like be fully accepted by someone.
What was it like being intimate with someone when you'd only been intimate with your husband? And like now having, 5 kids, like your body's different. Like I always think about that. I mean, I pray I never get divorced. Divorce is like the scariest thing to me because it is so traumatic. Especially when you have kids. But then like my body doesn't look the way it looked when I married my husband. Like I feel like I'd be really insecure, and you're so confident. Like, did you have that confidence going into it? Like, yeah, like I've had 5 babies.
I don't think I'm as confident as people as I portray myself to be. Maybe. Because I think a lot of my body positive content even was like wishful thinking.
It's almost like
almost like me manifesting it for myself, or it would be thoughts that I had in my head that I wanted to be real. And then there was moments where it was real. Yeah. And where I did truly feel that way. I think postpartum was always such an empowering time for me because it gave purpose to the stretch marks and folds and cellulite and saggy boobs and the leaking, and there was a reason for it. And then I think I struggled when I would like stop breastfeeding and my body would still be the same way. Yeah. Then I would like kind of go back into a cycle of like self-hatred and like wanting to be skinnier and all those things. And I think for an audience, you need to just be very consistent with your feelings and be like super confident. And for me, I was like sharing as I was going through things. Yeah. So I think a lot of people took it as truth and felt like deceived when I like lost weight and felt deceived when I like got my boob job and stuff like that. But I think for me, like I am just experiencing life and like sharing it as I live it. And so I'm going to make a lot of mistakes, and I have made a lot of mistakes. And then there's things that like I don't regret. And people doing it all in front of people is like wild, because I've been doing it in front of people since I was 18 on a way lesser level than a lot of people experience it, but like still in a way. All that to say, I think my experience before Drew with that guy helped me a lot, because I was so scared. Like I wore like bodysuits to where like they had to like unbuckle the bottom and like my stomach was still going to be covered type thing. Yeah. I even did that with Drew a few times. Like I went into it feeling very insecure. Yeah. But Drew made me feel so like sexy and like loved, and like, I don't know, like he just made it so easy and like fun, and like sex was fun and hot. So it was like I just loved it. Like there was no room for me to feel insecure because it was just so fun. And then I think we had serious conversations about it about like a month after we met. Like a week in a day, like really dating, which is crazy. It's so stupid. Like, well, I'm sure we'll look back and be like, what the fuck was that?
So fast.
Yeah. But I was like, you say you love every part of me. Like, how serious are you when you're saying those things? Yeah. Like I wanted to know his thoughts on my body, like your real thoughts. And he was like, every fucking part of you is so sexy to me. And he was like, every part of you. Like, I wish you could see yourself the way I see you. And like, to me, I was like, oh my God, okay. So like that made me feel more confident. I'm still trying to find my own confidence, like in myself, that's not like rooted in someone else. Yeah. But like he does give me a lot of confidence in that way.
What advice would you give to somebody who's dating right now and maybe does not feel confident in their body and wanting to like be intimate with somebody new?
I would say that there are ways, like maybe cut all of that out.
There's ways.
There are ways
There are ways to do it. You can read a book about it. Yeah. I'm sure.
I think going into it, just doing everything you can to make yourself feel safe. So for me, like I felt safe wearing like my favorite NYX bodysuit that like makes me feel really snatched. Yeah. And like I wore really flattering like sweatpants, and it looked sexy. And even though it was like sweatpants, like it was comfy, cozy type thing. Like also I didn't go out like with any of these guys. Like I went to their house or their apartment or whatever, because like I was scared of being seen too. I was scared to even be on Hinge. I was scared someone was going to screenshot it, but no one did. as far as I know. And so I would like go, so it was like fine to wear sweatpants. Like going on a date to like in a public place, I think would be easier because then like you can really dress to like the kind of
dress to
impress.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Yeah.
But like for me, I was like, I wanted to like, my stomach was my main cause of insecurity, especially for these guys that I knew didn't have kids. Like I didn't swipe on anyone that had kids because I was like, just in case, like what if I like them? Like I don't want to be a stepmom.
Yeah.
And like I already have 5 kids that I want to have all of me. I don't want to like have to give it to other kids too.
And that's like really smart of you to like recognize that and be like, I'm not even going to put myself in that situation where I have to then like make the hard choice.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I would say that just do anything you can to like, make yourself feel safe. And if it's the right person, they'll make you feel safe too. And like they'll add to that like feeling of confidence.
I love that. Speaking on kids a little bit, you got a hysterectomy, so like you literally can't have kids.
I literally can't. Yeah.
Would you want to adopt if you got married again? Would you want to do anything to possibly bring one more baby into this world with your family?
I think right now I'm so focused on my own kids, and like that was important to me for like anyone that I'm in a relationship with or dating to like recognize that my kids will always come first. Like I straight up told Drew that if when he met my kids eventually they didn't like him, like I would break up with him. Yeah. Like it was very important to me that my kids always come first. Yeah. And he knows that. Like he literally I've said to him that I love my kids more than I love him. Like, and he's like, duh. Which you should. Yeah. He's like, duh. I'm like, but I'm like, I just want to keep telling it to you so that you are very aware. Yeah. Like I need that to always be on your mind that like my kids are going to come first. And to him it was, and that's been an easy part of it. But I think eventually, like I still have my ovaries. Like I could do IVF. Like those are things that I've like thought about. Like if he desperately like needs a child of his own to like make it work, then like in 5 to 10 years, like sure, maybe like once my kids are grown up, but because like by then like I'll have all teenagers mostly. Like Ellis will be still be,
because you're a freaking hot young mom.
But like I right now and for the next at least 5 years, like I don't even want to think about it. Like I just want to be focused on my kids, and I want either to do it on my own or to have a partner that is on board with them being the priority. So
I love
that's that for me.
Sounds like you found a good one.
He's literally the best. Like people have, I wish I could just tell you guys everything, but I also love that he's very private. Yeah. And I think that would be a turn off for me if he was like, let's make videos together vlog. Or like, let's do this or that. And he like comes from that world, but like, he has friends that are like legit TikTok famous, like 10 million followers. So like he kind of got it before we were like together, which is also a great part of it that I didn't have to like explain to him a lot of the parts of it that are like weird as fuck to people and like not normal. The parasocial relationships that you have with everyone. Yeah. And like people have already like kind of formed that with him in a way. And so I think there's parts that would like freak a lot of other people out. But for him, he's like kind of just ignores it, which is great. But it's also fun because like he lets me lead in all of those ways. Like I'm like, should I post like your hand? And he's like, whatever you want. I don't care. Like whatever makes you happy. And I'm just like, okay. Like, should I post your full fucking face in this dump? And he's like, go for it, babe. I don't care. I love it. So what's next for you? Like, do you see yourself moving in together? Do you see yourself maybe moving? Like the house you have now holds a lot of memories. Do you like that or do you not like that? I love my house, and when I look at it and I step into it, it feels like me. And there's like every part of like the design and the decorations and just like every part of it is me because I made my house a home. Yeah. So I don't think when I'm like in there I feel like ghosts of like the past. I think it just feels like my safe space. I would stay there forever. Yeah. Like I would literally stay there forever and like maybe add on another room because I have a million kids. And when they're teenagers, their bodies are going to be bigger than these little toddlers running around. Right. So it's going to take up more space. And I don't know if 6 like adults could live in that house. It's a little small, but I think that as long as I can make it work there, like I want to. I love it. As far as Drew, I just like we're having so much fun and like he makes me feel so good and happy and like I love that part of it. And the what he's been through too since like dating me is like it would be a lot for anyone. Like the way he handles it all so gracefully and like is just there for me. Like, he doesn't let anything from my divorce or even like Anthony like affect him in any way. Like, he just wants to make sure I'm okay. And like, that's so nice. And I just like want that to continue to grow into like whatever it's going to be, because I do love him so much and it's so fun.
Do your friends all love him?
My friends are obsessed with him.
Like that.
My friends are all obsessed with him, and he loves my friends. It's just like, it's easy, and it's so new too, but like, I don't like, they just all get along so good. And my plan for the next few years is just to find peace wherever I can. Like, that was something like my word in June that I was just like manifesting over and over again for myself going into this phase of like being divorced was peace. Like, I want peace. Like, that's something that's been lacking in my life since I was a child. And I like had a very tumultuous childhood and adolescence, and then now 20s. I just want peace, and I'm like looking for those pockets of it so I can just sit there and like feel it and feel peace and joy, of course, but peace is like the most important thing right now for me and my household and children. Is I want peace for us all. So
I love it. Peace on
as
earth.
far as influencing goes, I would be happy to quit tomorrow. Like,
really?
I would be happy to never do this again. Like, as the moment Drew can support me and like wants to, I will literally quit.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when Bethany falls off the face of the earth,
you can come back and watch this episode to know why.
You can know why. Okay.
No, I think like part of me will always like, I love my community and like I would share in that way, but like as far as ads and like having to post every day to keep my analytics up and stuff like that, like I would be happy to leave it all behind to just be able to share like happy moments here and there.
Well, because you've been doing it for over 10 years.
Yeah.
Like that's
a lot. I'm a little burnt out for sure.
Sharing your life online for so many years, there's a lot of pros, but there's a hell of a lot of cons.
Yeah.
And so to have to be doing that for so long can just wear you out, I'm sure.
Yes.
So would you ever like start a business?
I would love to. I think that would be what's next for me, for sure.
Anything in particular that you're passionate about that you'd want to start?
Literally anything that's providing a service to people that they need.
Yeah.
Like, I love connecting with people. So if I can continue to do that in a different way where I don't have to like exploit my life and my children and my own like emotions just to like, and like,
other people?
and like have to be honest all the time or else like people are mad and like, I just would love to not have to do that and maybe just focus on like using like whatever skills I've gained from this job in a different way.
Yeah.
Well,
because you used to have a podcast.
Yes.
And I know podcasting is very vulnerable. There's a lot of talking, but I mean, there are ways to go about it where you don't have to share so much of your personal life. You obviously aren't going to do the podcast with your ex-husband, but would you ever do like a rebrand and start a podcast, maybe just you?
I might do it. I don't think I would ever do it in just me. I might do it with a friend.
Okay.
If I ever did a podcast again, it would have to be with like a friend.
Okay.
I would love to do like a girls type thing. Never with a man.
The Johnson Diaries.
Yeah. Also, would love to change my username on Instagram, but they won't let me.
Yeah,
I don't know what's happening there.
That's like, so annoying.
So annoying. Yeah. They have a case opened to see. But I know this other girl, Dee Dee, that it took her like a year. So I'm like, cool.
Is it because you're verified?
So yeah, it's like, it's weird. In a way, it's because I'm verified. So I got verified in 2019 when I like went crazy viral for this like postpartum series.
Yeah.
And ever since, like, I never got the meta verified thing. So then I got it so that I could chat with them because my contact that I had left Meta. So I had no contact. So I like joined Meta Verified so that I could chat with them. And then they were like, because you're with Meta Verified, you can't change it. And I was like, well, I wasn't with you guys and I couldn't change it. And they were like, we don't know. We have to escalate this. And I'm like, okay.
That's so wild that they can't just be like, let me change it in the computer for you. They're acting like it's your freaking like identity,
so
social security.
It's so
like,
wild.
Social media has become another sense of our identity. Like, it's really crazy.
But they won't let me use it for an ID when I forget my license at a bar.
Right?
Why
like,
is that?
Look at me.
I'm like, I'm literally verified.
Like,
no, I'm just kidding.
Hello, you see that blue check mark? Let me in. Let me in.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny.
Okay, well, thanks for letting me dumpster deep dive you. But we're going to finish with TRASHTOPICAN, which I usually have a little pink trash can. And I forgot to pack it. So we have this
bougie,
bowl.
a Scottsdale little white bowl.
Little Scottsdale bowl.
Oh, no. Okay, one thing you'll never do again.
What's one thing you'll never do again, Bethany?
I will never
go on Super Nanny.
Go on Super Nanny. I will never make out with 2 guys at a bar in one night at Buffalo Trip ever again.
That was the video? Did they get it on video?
I mean, my friend got it on video.
Oh my gosh, were they hot at least?
No.
Oh, well, that's unfortunate.
One was like ish. Yeah.
Were the kisses good at least?
I don't remember.
What's your drink of choice?
Tequila.
Tequila.
And Red Bull.
Tequila and Red Bull.
Not together.
Wait, I feel like, okay, I was going to say, if you drink them together, I would never be able to drink Red Bull because it would remind me of tequila and Red Bull and I would throw up. Just straight tequila, shots of tequila.
Yeah. I've
never had a shot of tequila.
I'm like trying not to drink as much because I think I did like go a little overboard. Yeah. Because also like the way I was raised was like smoking and alcohol and everything is like so bad, like awful. You're going to hell. Yeah. Like you're going to hell if you do this. So then like I didn't start drinking till like after I was a mom to 5 children. So
really?
Yeah, I like never had like alcohol ever or like smoked weed or whatever. So when I started, I was like, oh, this is fun. Like let me do it some more. And so
weed, I love weed.
I'm
new to weed.
Okay, yeah.
Weed is a new thing.
I love weed
for me. I've never smoked it.
I think I'm a better mom with weed. And like also I have so many like sleep issues that it like helps me so much with my sleep. And like I'm actually able to go to sleep at night, not lay awake with like debilitating anxiety. Yeah. Also, I have like food issues. So like I'm able to eat more with weed. Yeah. And like I love that.
That's a problem I actually have with weed. I don't want to eat more.
I like my 2 issues, like I'll binge and then I'll like not. I'll suppress. Yeah. And so when I'm having like my binge eating moments, like I'm like better with that now. I'm like I think I'm like more healed from that, but I'll like punish myself and like not eat, and then I'm not even hungry. So then like weed will help me like eat a full meal of food, and like it actually tastes good, because I think that's another part for me is like sometimes food like doesn't taste good to me because I like don't want it. Yeah. So yeah. I love weed. Yourself. Weed is medicine.
No, it is. And it's crazy because I remember being so judgmental of people who did weed. I was like, you're a pothead.
Oh,
you're
me too.
A loser.
Like I stopped being friends as an adult.
Yeah,
as an adult.
I'm like, grow up. And now that I've tried it in like a medicinal way, like I feel like it's way better than my Zoloft. Yeah. Like,
truly. Oh yeah, I went off antidepressants after starting to smoke weed. Like or not even like I don't really smoke that much, but like
I should smoke it one time. I've never smoked it.
Oh
I've only taken gummies.
Yeah, gummies is like my go-to for sure.
It's just easy and quick, and I just like will take it before like right as the kids are going to bed, so then it hits at like 9 o'clock, and then like I sleep so good.
You get like some giggles out with your man, and then you get to go to sleep. It's so nice. Sex is amazing. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. High sex,
it's the best.
Literally,
it's like sensational because you can feel everything.
Oh my gosh! Like I remember when I had sex for the first time, high, and I looked at my husband. I'm like, you knew what this felt like, and you never told me.
I'm dead. Like you're depriving me.
Like rude. Like rude. Like you should have just drugged me because this isn't euphoric. Yeah, it's euphoric.
Yeah. No, seriously. It's
I need to think of something I would never do again. I think something that I would never do again would be eat mobetas. Do you know what mobetas is? No. You probably don't have one here in Utah or Arizona. It's like Hawaiian grills, like teriyaki chicken, mac salad, rice. Eat mobetas before a half marathon.
Oh.
I will never do that again. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yep. No, it was so.
I'm not joking. This TikTok just popped up on my For You page of this girl sharing all the photos of how she shit her pants during a marathon, and I was like, "That's crazy."
No, a marathon. Like I've only done halves. I kind of want to do a marathon now that I've seen everybody post about the New York City marathon. I'm like, wait, I want to do that. But if I shit my pants in a half marathon, I'm fucked for a full marathon. Like, what am I supposed to do?
Wait, how much is a half marathon?
It's half is 13.1.
13? No, okay. I'm already out. Sorry.
No. I think anyone.
The fact that you did that,
half marathons, anyone can do that. You just got to work your way up.
Like I saw you do it, but I don't think I realized.
Yeah, 13.1 miles. And honestly, like this last one that I did, I was like, that was hell. I will literally never do anything ever again.
So fucking proud of myself when I do 5 minutes on the stair climber.
Okay, this stair climber though is next level. Like
I
that
go
is
at like
hard.
1 speed.
It's hard.
I could never do that.
I sweat more on a Stairmaster than anything else. Like dripping. Like you can see my sweat bullets on the ground. Like just so sweaty. So if you can do the Stairmaster for 5 minutes, you can run a half marathon. They're like one and the same. Like,
you heard it here, folks. If you can do 5 minutes on the Stairmaster,
you can do a half marathon. Which camera should I look at? You can do a half marathon.
You can do it.
Well, Bethany, thanks so much for coming to
Thanks
Weekly
for letting
Trash.
me trauma dump on your
No, I
podcast.
love it. No, truly, you have so much lore. We could honestly keep going because there's
so much we didn't talk about.
So many. So we're gonna have to do part 2. I'm gonna come back to Arizona.
Perfect.
In
we'll
like
stay
a year.
in a different Airbnb.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll all be in a different area. Apparently, this is a sketch area that I'm at. We drove in at night, so I haven't even seen it outside in the light. But at night,
my Uber rolled up, and I was like, I'm scared.
Like,
let me verify the Uber driver
location.
He literally was like, is this the right place? And I was like, I don't know. Let me verify.
No, like, but the Airbnb itself is really
cute. So cute.
Like, it's so cute. But yeah, the area was a little sketchy. So thanks for coming and just being brave.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Talking about your trauma, being brave, coming to the Airbnb, and just being the best version of yourself. You're killing it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited to see all the things that you do in the next couple of years.
Thank you so much.
Peace, love, and blessings are coming your way.
Thank you so much. I'm ready for it.
I love it. Everybody have the best week ever. And don't forget to take out your trash. Bye.
Bye.